This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of YouTube, YouTubing, YouTubers, because I believe that every person should honestly have some sort of YouTube channel, because I've been thinking about what made early YouTube so great, and it was just the organic nature of all the videos. Sure, there were still some like high production value brands trying to do high production value brands, back in good old 720p days. But anyways, yeah, I mean, while there were some more legitimate like channels, like College Humor maybe whatever, a lot of early YouTube was just people with a camera just sharing what they love, sharing what they do. That's why things like the old Let's Plays were so much fun back then because they were like easy to make and whatnot. But I really think everybody should have some sort of even like minor channel. I should preface that and say like adults, maybe 16 and up. There's no reason I would say a 10-year-old needs to be on YouTube getting exploited by their parents, but that's a whole other video. So what I mean by that is, everybody should have, wow, how loud is my cat? Everybody, has something that they're passionate about, something that they or maybe knowledgeable about, and I think it's just important to have some place to share that, and maybe not even have the intention of trying to get like big or anything. I think that's one of the big downfalls of what has really hurt social media, the internet in general, is that everybody is just trying to like make a name for themselves. No longer, I mean, I can't be like super generalized. There's always been good people, bad people, people who are optimistic, but but it just seems like just the way the algorithms work, everyone's just getting pushed these like super reactionary, super inflammatory, content creators, when I think they're that the whole more like public access, grassroots sort of feeling behind a lot of channels, like smaller channels, is important. So I'm not saying that you have to just watch every single video that has less than 3-digit views, because let's be honest, videos like this, channels like this, I'm not saying anything important. This is I don't blame anybody for not watching this. I don't know, this is not engaging in the age of fast cuts, edits, and whatever. But everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has like a fact to share. And if you just like start creating and just I'm not saying you have to post a video every day. But if you just start creating, you never know what could happen. And at the end of the day, I think it's just important to have some sort of hobby. It's so easy to just consume, to watch, just consume, whatever. But to actually like sit down, and whether it's just, BSing in front of a mic, whether it's, actually sitting down to write a script, or maybe having AI write you a script after you like give it bullet points or whatever. I just think there is going to be some value in like sitting down and trying to create something from beginning to end. And it doesn't take too much in 2025 to be able to like edit videos and whatnot. It depends on how sophisticated you want to be. And I would never say like spend money on a YouTube channel or whatnot. If you have the disposable income, a $1,000, or who knows how much they're going to be after the tariffs, but like $1,000 MacBook, used, new, whatever, will definitely be able to get you off the ground. I mean, iMovie is probably one of the blessings for small creators out there. I mean, you can basically do everything you need to do as a small creator on iMovie. If you want to spend the extra money on like Final Cut and whatnot, it's not going to hurt. But you could definitely get a lot of mileage just from iMovie. And even if you don't want to join the Mac universe, that's, no fault. I just think it's easy for small creators. Oh my God, AirDrop makes it so easy just to get footage from one place to another. But, there's so many video editing free apps out there, open source. I think there's something like DaVinci or something that's free, that's pretty decent. But just having a personal space where you can just nerd out and share whatever you want, is, I would just say, can be really fun, especially if you just have like a weird niche. If you're really into gardening, just taking your camera outside and just showing your plants. I mean, again, you don't have to go crazy with these YouTube channels. You don't have to spend hours editing. I mean, I spend 10 minutes talking in front of this microphone, throw it on, use AirDrop, and then cut it up a little bit. Not even. I mean, the only time I'm really cutting things up is when there are obvious gaps, like when my cat keeps yelling. I think she wants to go outside. That's right, everyone in internet land. I let my cat go outside. Crucify me. Oh, there's a whole nother video that we could talk about. People being self-righteous on the internet and judging others for the most minor things. I know that it's dangerous to let cats outside. Well, that's another video, though. We'll talk about that later. Maybe that could be your whole video. If you love cats, you could just sit and talk about cats. But, if you, even if you don't gain traction, I just, again, think that there's value itself in making something. I think people can get a lot of gratification. And let's be real, getting little, comments, likes, subscribers. I have 13 subscribers right now that are all probably bots, and it feels pretty cool, just that people sat and listened to my deranged rants and thought like, wow, I might want to hear more from this person. Let me hit this subscribe button. So if you love a video game, a specific video game, or just gaming in general, again, if you love like, woodworking, if you just into like old history, whatever, just start making something if you haven't. If you've been on the fence about thinking you've had this idea for a channel, then just jump in. You don't have to do some weekly schedule. Don't let anybody tell you how you have to run your channel. If you have a story to tell, if you know something that's cool, share it with the world. And if people don't respond, that was my big issue with my old channel. Sometimes I felt like I put so much effort, and it hurts when you don't get that response that you're hoping for. But you know what? It might get discovered later on the line. And as long as, you enjoy the process, it's not going to be time wasted. This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment.